So I don't know that that's really, I mean, I think that rule is okay, but it's not great. There's obviously some problems with it, and there might be some technological improvements we can create to fix that. Um, but nevertheless, if that's the case, then striking on the horn or even a touch after it because the referee hasn't intervened is apparently okay. However, there are other factors, according to referee Rob Hines, that go into this, namely the intent, the amount of damage, among a number of other factors. And to me, that first shot landed pretty clean, and it was very, very razor close. So what I would do in that sense is I don't know if admonish is the word, but I certainly would have said something to Duran to me more than what Todd Anderson said, which was that shot was clean. Maybe it was clean, but you're getting a little too close for comfort. Be very, very careful about how you strike at the end of that round, and make sure you're monitoring yourself and using some level of discipline. And for the second one, I definitely would have taken a point, because I would have given some kind of a heads up the first time. Although apparently you could have taken a point the first time. Like, you don't need to give a warning before you take a point. You can take a point at any point without a warning, if you feel like. I mean, we empower these referees to have extraordinary latitude in how they make judgment calls. But the second one, I probably would have taken a point. To me, that was a little bit egregious. It was definitely a little late for me and a little willful, right? I don't know that she was necessarily trying to cheat, but I think she was trying to push it to the absolute maximum limit, and whatever culpability Todd Anderson might have had, and I think he does have some here. She has some, I think, as well. If not so much for the first one, definitely for the second one. I think a point being taken is warranted. However, here's the problem. Because this is a judgment call and there's only one referee, if they choose or not choose to take a point, there's not much to be done about it. In other words, I think something I wonder if there's an opportunity here to reevaluate how we do officiating in mixed martial arts. Like, we talk a lot about, does the scoring criteria need to be iterated? And I had a big long rant on the Monday Morning Analyst about it, and the answer to that, I think, is unequivocally yes. I think technological aids need to be added to the extent that they can. But I think we need to rethink how we do officiating as well. We have one officiator for the contest, and they're required to make incredibly difficult split decision calls. And I don't know how smart that is. I wonder if it'd be smarter if we had two additional referees outside of the cage monitoring what happened through the use of technology or whatever the case may be. And if those two referees overrule the main referee, maybe you take a point. Maybe if they decide they wanted to take a point, then they do that. Maybe you don't like that particular arrangement, but you think there might be something else we can do to add to this level of officiating. Because to me, having one referee, you think, oh, one referee, two persons, what could they possibly miss? Yeah, they can miss a lot. They can miss a lot. If not in this case, many, many others you can point to. And because they don't really have the aid of technology to review their own decision. I mean, they do in some capacity, but it's very, very limited. They're going to get things wrong a lot. I know a lot of people are out there being like, I like the human element. I really don't. I'm not one of these guys who likes the idea of having chaos because we have a limited capacity to, cognitively handle all this overhead and then make decisions on top of that. I really don't find that to be a very compelling argument. What to me is a much more rational basis by which to conduct sport, if getting things right has massive consequences, and it does, is actually getting it right and using as many tools as our disposal without, profoundly interfering with the product to get that. We don't do that at all right now. We're like, oh, we gave judges monitors. Do we even know if they're using them? And if they are, how often? And to what extent is it impacting them? Like, we have no ability to talk to judges to find any of this out. We just trust that those who are in charge of the commission are doing their best job. And maybe someone like Andy Foster is. He seems like a very reputable guy who is trying to do the right thing for mixed martial arts. But it's like, I don't know the answer to that. Do you know the answer to that? Is there any way to measure the answer to that? Like, we're working with such limited information here, and such secrecy and such a lack of transparency that it's just maddening. It's maddening. So I know your question was about like refereeing in particular and that point specifically, but I just feel like the general apparatus of officiating is so 2002 still.